Welcome to the Eat Better, Move Better, Live Better podcast presented by Flourish with Tracy, where we'll dive into the realms of holistic wellness, plant-based nutrition, yoga, and self-care to help you live your best life. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our special segments. Meditation Monday. Start your week with mindfulness. Wellness Wednesdays. Get the midweek boost you need. Sadhana Saturdays. Dedicate weekends to personal growth. Join us as we explore and discuss all things to eat better, move better, and live better. Welcome back. We continue with part 2 of the power of noticing. In part 1, we discuss how many of us have been conditioned to believe that every observation should immediately lead to a solution. We also practice simply noticing our thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations without trying to change them. Now, I'd like to take that idea one step further. Today, in part 2, let's take a moment to ponder the idea that awareness is not passive. It's actually an active practice of paying attention that invites you to notice with curiosity instead of criticism or judgment. So if noticing doesn't require immediate action, what does it accomplish? At first glance, it may seem like awareness isn't doing very much. If we notice, yet haven't changed the behavior, didn't solve the problem, or eliminated the discomfort, have we really made progress? The answer is yes, because sometimes the greatest progress is becoming conscious of what was previously unconscious. Awareness changes our relationship with ourselves. Consider this thought. The moment you notice something, your relationship with it changes. For example, imagine you've been carrying a heavy backpack all day. You were consciously aware of it because you become accustomed to it. And then someone asks you, how does your back feel with that backpack? Instantly, you become aware of the weight, the tension. The tension didn't suddenly appear. It was already there. Your noticing and awareness simply caught up with the reality of the heaviness and tension of the backpack. This happens to us emotionally as well. When we're feeling overwhelmed, we may not immediately notice it, and weeks can go on, and we've been moving so quickly we didn't take the time to acknowledge it. And then one day or one instance we notice that we're tired, we're exhausted. Nothing changed externally, but internally something happened, and it was important. Internally, you became aware, and awareness opens the door to compassion. Yet if you don't notice, you miss the opportunity to exhibit it. And the most important first step is noticing. Why? Because you don't care, or you can't care for what you don't notice. We often expect ourselves to care for our well-being while simultaneously ignoring our own experience. And this is where judgment creeps in. You don't suddenly become unhealthy. There was something that had been asking for attention. And it could have been things like fatigue, irritability, feeling impatient more often, headaches or restlessness, not able to concentrate. Perhaps you're sleeping poorly. You're feeling disconnected, becoming forgetful, or just numb. And often, any of these are simple indicators to ask us to pay attention, to become curious. And when we do so, it's equally important to ask the right question, a question that does not evoke criticism or judgment. For example, instead of asking, what is wrong with me? Try asking, what might this be trying to tell me? Notice the difference of those two questions and how they feel. Notice the curiosity and compassion in the alternative question. What might this be trying to tell me versus the judgmental question of what is wrong with me? One of the greatest gifts awareness can offer is space. Without awareness, our life feels moat, robotic, automatic. Someone says something and we react. A problem appears and we panic. Or we feel uncomfortable, avoid the situation, or feel the need to do something right away. Everything happens almost instantly without thought. Yet if we take the moment to notice, our awareness slows the process just enough to create the opportunity to make a choice. There's a saying, between stimulus and response, there's a space. Awareness helps us discover that space. And within it, you get to pause, breathe, and remember that you have options. Here's an example. Someone offers constructive feedback. Without awareness or noticing, you may immediately become defensive. Your internal dialogue may jump straight to the self-judgment or criticism. And you may begin to say things like, I failed. They don't think I'm good enough. I messed this up. And your emotions may escalate. However, if you embrace the power of noticing, you may handle this same situation with awareness. Instead, you notice my shoulders just tighten. I feel my heart rate increasing. I notice embarrassment. I notice emotion. I notice I'm creating a story that I'm failing. Noticing creates something important. It creates the opportunity to shift from reaction to compassionate self-awareness. And this helps you realize that none of these observations require immediate correction or action. It's simply just information. Noticing provides information. And when you notice information, you've interrupted the automatic reaction cycle. Now you can respond thoughtfully and compassionately with self-care instead of reacting impulsively. Curiosity is kinder than criticism. Many of us believe that criticism motivates growth. Think about your own experiences. Has harsh self-talk ever made lasting change easier? Or has it simply made change more exhausting? Curiosity sounds different. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Curiosity asks, why is this happening for me? Instead of, I shouldn't feel this way, curiosity asks, what might this feeling need? Notice that curiosity doesn't excuse unhealthy behavior. It simply creates understanding before action. The beautiful thing about awareness is that it doesn't require anything extra. It can happen in ordinary moments throughout your day. For example, during meals. Rather than immediately changing what you're eating, simply notice. Am I hungry? Am I eating because I'm bored? Am I eating quickly? Am I actually tasting my food? Am I full? Awareness often changes behavior naturally. We can notice during conversations. Am I truly listening? Or am I preparing for my next response? Am I curious about this person's perspective? Or am I waiting to be understood? Awareness transforms communication. We can practice awareness at our work. We can notice, am I breathing? Have I stood up today? Have I been scared? Have I been staring at this screen for 3 hours? Am I rushing because I'm actually behind? Or is it because I've become accustomed to rushing? We can notice during stressful situations. We can ask, where do I feel stress in my body? Is my jaw tight? Are my shoulders elevated? Am I holding my breath? Simply noticing often encourages our body to soften without even forcing it. We can notice and be curious before bedtime. Instead of evaluating the day as good or bad, just notice what brought me joy, what challenged me, what surprised me, what did I learn? Awareness ends our day with reflection instead of judgment. So I'd like to invite you to reflect in a brief exercise. Take a slow breath in and out. I'd like you to complete these sentences silently. There are no wrong or right answers, just observations. Complete each prompt to allow each answer to arise naturally. No editing, no judging, just noticing. Let's begin. I've noticed, I've been feeling. Fill in and complete this sentence with what presents itself to you. I've noticed, I've been needing. I've noticed, I've been avoiding. I've noticed, I've been appreciating. I've noticed, I've been rushing. I've noticed, I've been learning. Take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. You can pause right here if you'd like to record or write or resonate with words showed up for you. Or what did you notice? You can return here at your leisure in this compassionate space that you've created for yourself. And you can repeat this process as many times as you wish. You can add what you've noticed, what may not have been mentioned. What's great about this process is that you don't always have to make major shifts. Sometimes small awareness can create big changes. Awareness helps us recognize patterns. That is so powerful, to notice that one stressful day doesn't define your life, or a poor night's sleep isn't necessarily a concern, or knowing that one emotional reaction doesn't tell the entire story. Patterns tell the story. Awareness helps us recognize those patterns over time. For example, you may have noticed that you're calmer after you spend time outdoors. Or perhaps difficult conversations are easier if you've had a good night's sleep. Perhaps you notice that you've become overwhelmed when you don't take a lunch break. These observations become wisdom, and wisdom helps us make healthier choices because we've now experienced and noticed what supports our well-being. Many people see noticing as looking for flaws. Noticing is just the opposite. It's an act of self-respect. When you pay attention to yourself, you're standing in your truth with a declaration. My experience matters. My emotions matter. My body matters. My needs matter. My well-being matters. And when you embrace these compassionate declarations, you acknowledge that your self-care deserves your attention. It deserves noticing. For the remainder of this week, I'd like to invite you to practice letting go of one word. The word is Should. Whenever you hear yourself say, I should, pause, take a breath, and replace it with I notice. For example, instead of I should be more patient, replace it and try with I notice I'm feeling impatient today. Instead of I should exercise more, replace it and try I notice my body has been asking for movement. And notice what happens. The word should creates pressure and judgment. The word notice creates awareness and compassion. And awareness leaves room for these compassionate choices. Awareness is much more than simply paying attention. Awareness is an invitation to know yourself more honestly, to meet yourself with more gentleness, and to recognize that meaningful shift does not begin with force. It begins with understanding and removal of judgment. Next week, in part 3, we will conclude our Power of Noticing series with a discussion on how to bring your practice to life and how to live with full awareness. Thank you for sharing time and space today. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's insights help you on a personal journey towards a healthier, happier life. Don't forget to join every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for more self-care and holistic wellness tips. Before you go, make sure to comment, click the bell, like, and subscribe buttons for upcoming episode notifications. Be sure to always consult a medical professional before making any major changes regarding your health, diet, or routine. In the meanwhile, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, every step you take is one step closer to a better you. Until next time, keep flourishing, and as always, may all be well.